All right, let's go over example 2, multiplying decimals. And this is part of chapter 2, section 5, multiplying decimals. Okay, our first problem is find 4.8 times 7.2. Our first step is to put the bigger number on top. So that would be 7.2. And we're multiplying times 4.8. Okay. Just going to grab this bar here. All right, step 2 says to count the decimal places. All right, well, in our first number, 7.2, there's one decimal place. And it's a terrible arrow. Okay, so there's one decimal place in 7.2, and there's also one decimal place in 4.8. One decimal place. One decimal place. Remember, we're counting to find the decimal places. We're counting how many numbers are to the right of the decimal point, the little period. Okay, now that both of our numbers have decimal places, we need to add up how many decimal places are in the numbers we're multiplying, and that's going to be the number of decimal places in our answer. So if there's one decimal place in the first number and one in the second number, that gives us 2 decimal places for our answer. Okay, so that means our decimal point would be approximately right there, about. Okay, so now we multiply right to left. So this is just like multiplying whole numbers. So we're going to start with the 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So we're going to carry the 1. I'm going to zoom in a little here, I think. So carry the 1. And then my 6 is going to go down below. Right there. Okay, then we do 8 times 7, which is, I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, 56. Plus 1 would be 57. So my 7 goes down below. And then my 5 will also go down below, but to the right of the decimal place. Okay? Now we use this 1 up top, so I'm going to cross it out so we don't use it again. Okay? Now we're going to multiply with our 4. So, but before we do that, I almost forgot a step. We need to put a 0 down below. Because our 4 is in our tens place. And then I'm going to add a decimal point because we also need 2 decimal points here. Okay, 4 times 2 is 8. And then 4 times 7 is 28. Oops. Okay, and now we're going to add, because we're done multiplying, and we're going to add 5.76 plus 28.80. We don't need to count up these decimal places or add them at all, because we still will have 4 in our answer. 4 decimal places. I'm sorry, 2 decimal places. Okay, so we're adding 6 plus 0 is 6. And then 8 plus 7 is 15. So my 5 goes down below. And I'm going to carry a 1 on top. Maybe I'll use a different color so you can see it. 1, okay. And then 8 plus 5 is 13, plus 1 more is 14. I'm going to carry my 1. And my 4 goes down below. Okay, and then 2 plus 1 is 3. So our answer is 34.56. So notice we have 2 decimal places, and we know we have 2 because there is 1 decimal place in our first number, 7.2, and 1 decimal place in our second number, 4.8. All right, I encourage you to pause the video and see if you can solve 3.1 times 0.05 on your own. All right, let's go ahead and go through this one together. So step 1 says the bigger number goes on top, which is 3.1 times 0.05. Okay. So move that over. There we go. So I'm always going to line up the numbers on the right. Okay, see how I moved the 1 over to the 5? So the decimal places aren't lined up, but that's okay. We want our numbers to line up, not the decimal places. Okay. All right. Step 2 says to count the decimal places. Okay, so in our first number, 3.1, there's one number to the right of the decimal place, so that means there's one decimal place value. And in our second number, in 0.05, there's two numbers to the right of the decimal place, so that means there's two decimal places. So then in our answer, to find how many decimal places we need in our answer, we add up how many decimals are in the numbers we're multiplying. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So in our answer, there's going to be 3 decimal places. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get multiplying. So our decimal point will be approximately right there. And we're going to multiply right to left. So we start with 1 times 5, which is 5. And then 5 times 3 is 15. So our 5 goes down below. And we're going to carry our 1. Okay. And then, then we have nothing. So actually our 1 is going to go down below. Okay. So notice how I already have 3 decimal places on the bottom. And then our next number to be multiplying is 0. Well, we know anything times 0 is 0, so we don't really need to do that. And then same with the next one. Anything 0 times 0 is 0. So our answer, so we're left with 0.155. Well, we're always just going to add a 0 to the left of the decimal place, so there's a number there. Okay, so our answer is 0.155. Okay, we're going to go over another example here in the next video.